What's up? Welcome to the first episode of The Morbid Vault. Now, just like all of my videos, this is just something that I'm doing for fun. And this series is all about me talking about video games that I play. Yeah, very interesting, I know. But you're on my channel, so you're probably used to that. It's gonna be kinda like a review series, except that instead of going after new games or classic games, I just look for games that I played and talk about them on video. And I also, because I don't think I should be taken seriously as a reviewer, because I'm a pretty positive person, and I rarely dislike or hate the games that I play, like some fucking poser. Which does give me a bit of an unfair bias, so maybe this could be more like a retrospective, I guess. Dunno. Oh yeah, there's a game here, Metro 2033. Metro 2033 is a first-person shooter taking place in a post-apocalyptic Moscow in Russia. The surface above has been ravaged by radiation after a nuclear strike, so the locals fled to underground metro stations.
Holy shit, like the name of the game!
But then, because this is a work of fiction, we can't just chill out under here unscathed. So there has to be some form of conflict to get us up off our ass and do stuff. If I remember correctly, I think I got this game on Steam on a free weekend and I got to keep it. And one thing to note is that I don't know shit about the Metro series. I heard there was a redux of this game, there was Last Light, and the new one, Exodus. And I've also heard that this series is actually based off of a series of Russian novels which I have never read. So I went in this game completely blind, but, spoiler alert, I ended up really liking it. So you open up the game and you get this intro movie where the main character, Artyom, talks about the backstory of the game. Moscow was annihilated in a nuclear blast, so everyone retreated under and started anew. But there was a new threat that appeared because nuclear fucking warfare wasn't enough of a threat already. Now, before I started recording, I actually played the entire thing out on normal mode and beat the game. But then I had the idea to make this video. So I replayed it on Ranger Easy, which I thought would be even harder than Hardcore mode, but no, it was still way too easy. So I bumped it up to Ranger Hardcore, the hardest difficulty in the game. So just forget everything I said about Ranger Easy, like that part of the video didn't exist. The difference with Ranger mode is that you don't get an on-screen HUD that shows you stuff like your ammo and your crosshair. So stuff like iron sights and laser sights do become a lot more important. We start off in the prologue, which mostly acts like a tutorial for the game. It shows you the shooting, the interacting, and everything. And this is just a prologue, it isn't a main part of the game, so it does pull a, "Hey, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got myself in this situation" moment. And it cuts back to the beginning of your journey. And you start off in Moscow before the nuclear bombs hit. And looking at the clock tower, it seems that Artyom is running late for work. And for the first mission of the game, he has to get up and rush to his job so he doesn't, I'm just fucking with you. The game is absolute hell from the start. So it starts off with Artyom being awoken in his little cove, or apartment, or whatever. And he's asked to meet somebody. And you can interact with the guitar and the lights and stuff, which is cool. You follow the man out into the station's clinic, where it's revealed that the squadron has barely survived an attack from the Dark Ones. And you can see that they're either in great pain or are tripping balls. Which right off the bat shows the effect of the new threat. But if you didn't get that, then he just tells you right there.
The Dark Ones do not kill. They damage a victim's mind. Sooner or later, this leads to death.
Could've gone without it, but not too big a deal. You go out to the station's gate, and there's a new dude. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Intruder alarm in the main vent shaft. They're coming in from above.
Wow, okay, rude. The station gets attacked by Nasalises, the new enemy, and you're given a revolver and tasked with holding them off. Alright, here we go. Let's kick some snout butts. You hold them off, and then you're finally safe.
The Dark Ones! They destroyed the outer guard post!
Man, the fun never ends, does it? Damn, he has seen some shit. If you didn't get the memo about the Dark Ones, then here you go. They wreck shit. So now the new dude has to leave already, and now we have our first goal of the game. Go to the station of Polis and deliver a message to a man named Miller. Okay, bye-bye, have fun! Next morning, and your day starts, as it often does, and you pick up this journal with this cool-looking bullet cartridge lighter. Hey, I have one just like that, except this one opens up from the bottom while the one in game opens from the bullet tip. And I like this journal design, or more specifically this compass, which points out the direction of where you're supposed to go for the objective, but it fits right in with the style of the game. Unlike a lot of other games where the objective marker is like, go right here in this specific spot. You're 150 M's away from the objective. Why are you going into that spot? Look at that, you're fucking dead now. Though, this area is littered with bright arrows pointing to you to where you're supposed to go. So it's not all that great for this part, and even then, who puts arrows for something like this specific? Like, it looks like it was specifically built for Artyom to make it to the main station area, like you do in this part of the game. What if it was because the station people knew that they were trapped in a video game, and that Artyom was the main character? And because they knew they're just side characters, they knew they could do nothing about it themselves. So some of them try to do the most they can to try to guide him to save the world, like put down these arrows to get him to where he needs to go, while some other people try to capitalize off of it and sell him weapons for money. And you can kind of notice that everyone knows Artyom like he's a local celebrity.
Not doing a speech, Artyom. Artyom, where's your gear?
Hello, Artyom.
That's more evidence that they know he's a main character. No, I'm overthinking this. It's probably the devs who put that there to guide the player around. You find the way out, but you need to grab some gear first, so you head to the armory, and you get a gas mask, first aid kit, and a homemade SMG called the Bastard Gun, which is a gun that shoots bastards. I mean bullets, which you shoot at the bastards. It does decent damage, but it is a bit unruly and kinda hard to handle.
Just like your mama!
So you need to fire short controlled bursts when facing targets that are farther away. And one cool thing about it is that you can actually see how many shots you have left from the physical model, which really helps in Ranger mode when you have no ammo counter on the HUD. What the hell is this thing even made of? Now we're ready to head out of the station. We hop onto this rail car and this stranger needs a lift, so he hitches along too. And so we have a little bit of chit-chat, but this line right here is kind of important.
And if it's not Hansa, then you have to go through the Reds, the Nazis, or your regular bandits.
There's Reds and Nazis around the metro, so it sounds like there's a bit of World War II in this. And because I didn't know anything about the Metro backstory, I was brainstorming what it could have been about. Like maybe it was some alternate timeline where the Nazis developed nuclear weapons during the war and launched a nuclear strike at Moscow. And now there's a battle between the German troops trying to finish off the survivors and the Red Army trying to defend the motherland. And the conflict between Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia never ended and is still going on even in the year 2037 or something like that. During the making of this video, I found more out and found out that I was dead wrong, but I'll get back to that later. Back to the ride, we are informed that there's a blockage on the main tunnel to our destination, Riga station, so you have to take a detour.
Fuck, I hate this tunnel.
Oh, that ain't good. Yeah, I just pulled out my gun, so I'm gonna have to start to shoot shit. A bit further and everyone's tripping balls from all this tunnel smog. And everyone starts to fall asleep. Hey, wake up! We're not even at the station yet! Oh hey, strange paranormal ghostly anomaly that looks super scary and dangerous. Would you mind coming over and seeing if you could scare these lazy bums up? Whoa, shit! Oh, where am I? Sup, dude? Whoa, is that an alien? Damn, he just knocked him out without even touching him. Yo, I just had this weird dream where I talk like some surfer stoner dude and there's this alien and everything.
What the hell's going on? Shit! Wake up, people! People! Wake up, for Christ's sake!
Man, what you in a panic for? We're just counting sheep. But this is the post-apocalyptic Russian version where instead of counting sheep jumping over a fence, it's a bunch of mutants jumping over a rail car of jackasses. Ah! But I don't think the sheep are supposed to jump on and murder us! So as you can see, this game has a bit of a psychological element to it. Every now and then you'll get these visions or hallucinations of shit happening. But once you fade back into reality, you're flung into combat, and you have to defend the car from the attacking Nostalises. Some you need to shoot with your SMG or revolver. Some will get close enough for you to kill with your knife. But then you're getting a double-barrel shotgun, which is good, but I do have one minor nitpick. The double-barrel shotgun in this game works a bit differently than in other games, where instead of choosing between firing one shot at a time or using a special alt-fire to shoot from both barrels, the two mouse buttons correspond to the two barrels. So left-click fires the left barrel and right-click fires the right barrel. And this is pretty interesting and is the more realistic option, as classic double-barrel shotguns had two separate hammers and triggers. But for gameplay purposes, there's little gripes. Like with how you have to click both mouse buttons to pull off a double shot instead of just one. And with how you have to remember which one you shot. So in combat, you might encounter a situation where you try to fire out of a barrel you already shot of, like, oh shit, I already fired the left one, and a tense moment and you get your face eaten off. Not huge issues, but again, just minor gripes. Oh, well, that guy's gone. Hey, I'll save you! Oh, never mind, I'm gonna hide in here. You fall off the car, but you survive despite being in the middle of a horde of Nostalises, or whatever a pack of them are called. Like how a pack of ravens are an unkindness, or a pack of crows are a murder. Something like that. How about a fuckload? So a fuckload of Nostalises don't even notice you there because Artyom's plot armor has a side modification that turns into a plot cloaking device where enemies can't see him. So they pass by, but more are coming. And the plot protection's wearing off, so you have to get out, and then you dash down the tunnels. Damn! We straight up barbecued their asses! Anyone want fire roasted snout for dinner? And to celebrate, we all have a nice drink of vodka. Whoa, I think the game is also pretty drunk. Here at Riga, we have a shop where we can buy weapons, attachments, and items. And I think that this game has a pretty cool shopping system. In this game, the currency for buying things are military-grade bullets, which can not only be used at shops, but it can also be loaded up into your primary weapon and shot. And it is the most powerful bullet type in the game, so you can choose to buy stuff with it or unload them into some skulls. Here at Riga Station, you're supposed to meet someone somewhere, and you find this kid who wants to help by leading you to him.
Are you Artyom?
Kid.
Hey, there's a man at the Black Street waiting for you. I really should be He's kind of big or also and spanking. And he doesn't smell good either. Ugh. I'll guide you there for one bullet.
Little boy, you are so lucky that I can't take out my gun on this part, else I would have made this really dumb joke about giving you one bullet by shooting it in your face. Because, like, I gave him a bullet, and it still technically counts, but it's not what everyone expects. You get it, you get it. I let him help out, and he leads me to a man named Bourbon.
Everybody calls me Bourbon. Listen, I need to get to Dry Station for some business, but this rat hole is on lockdown.
We talk, and then we follow him through a back way to get out of the lockdown station. Now the real game begins. You can walk around and explore for loot. And this game really serves my item paranoia well. Because every game I play like this, where there's hidden ammo and loot around, I always make sure that I go to the objective last. And I check every other inch of the map for resources. And that really helps with this game. Because if there's a place that looks like it might have something extra, it usually does. In a lot of other games, you might find a place that looks like it'd be perfect for a secret. But there isn't any. Probably because it'd be too obvious. But in this game, you never experience that. If there's an extra area to explore, there's something there.
They say if you listen long enough, you can hear the voices of the dead. What bullshit.
Now, there doesn't seem like much going on. We've just been following people around and been on a rail the whole time. Well, that's pretty much most of the game. There are few times where you're free to roam around and shoot shit, but for most of the game, you're being dragged around and limited of free movement. So if you're expecting a power fantasy run and gun shooter with free movement and you can go anywhere and kick ass, look further. This game is mostly story-based with some shooting action in between, which would usually turn me off, and if I found that out before I played this, I might have never gotten it, because I'm more of a gameplay over everything guy. If the gameplay sucks, then I don't usually bother with it. But I went in not knowing what it is, and I still ended up liking it in the end. But I'll talk about bits of the gameplay later.
Shit, caravanners. They're all dead, I know that style. Bandits.
So it sounds like we're about to run into some bandits, and Bourbon tells us about these hanging can traps, broken glass, and tripwires, which could alert enemies. And I like how the ammo is here by the broken glass, so you have to walk through it to get them, which subtly telegraphs what it does. See, this is why little details matter. Though I did wish they showed you how to disarm traps, which I had to find out myself. Now you're tasked with taking out a station full of bandits, and this is the first time you fight human enemies in this game. Now, you could go the stealth route. You need to watch out for traps and broken glass, turn off or shoot out the lights to remain unseen, and use silent weapons like throwing knives or guns with a suppressor on. I knew this part was coming, so I bought a suppressor for my revolver. Sometimes there'll be warning bells that the guards could ring, and if someone's running to sound the alarm, you have to kill them before ringing the bell. It's best to aim for headshots, duh, but some enemies will have bulletproof helmets on, which you could shoot off and then shoot again to kill them. Some are on the top of their head, so you have to aim for the chin or the neck, and some are on the face, so you have to find a way to shoot them in the back of the head. The stealth in this game is serviceable. It's nothing to write home about, but it isn't bad. I'd much rather have something that's just bland, boring bullshit than something that's remembered for being raggedy ass. Oh yeah, remember this? There are some flaws with it though. For example, there's just not enough on it. Which is why I'm introducing the new Morbid-Minded Maniac Extended Ass! What's so funny about Extended Ass? And on this chart, I'm rate Metro 2033 Stealth as ass. Not good, not bad, but it works. Now, my preferred method of murder is something I like to call a stealth, which is a portmanteau of the words stealth and assault, which is exactly what it is. I do one half stealth, and I do the other half going on a rampage. And by that, I mean I try to go stealth, fail miserably, and then go all thermonuclear warrior on their ass. Rinse and repeat until everyone has contracted death and died. Now, I usually use shotguns as my third weapon, but there's some other types you could use, like this electric gun, which you need to keep charged and reloaded for it to fire, and the alt fire is a melee attack that can shock people, and it kills these bandits in one accurate shot. This gun seems pretty overpowered. I should keep it. Later on, we get another one of those hallucinations, except that you can actually control yourself in it. And this red gate tries to eat you, so don't go there. Bourbon is tripping balls, but he eventually opens the gate and we both get through. We make it to the station gates, but they're locked, so we hold out until they're open. These holdout events where you have a companion with you are usually very easy. I'm playing on the highest difficulty and it's still barely even a threat. Bourbon usually mows them all down by himself and I can just sit back and not waste any ammo. The event's over and the people from the station seem to recognize Bourbon.
Are my eyes playing tricks? Bourbon, old friend, is that you?
God damn it. We stepped in this shit now.
We make it into the station but are checked by these patrol guards.
Don't move!
Oh, you don't want me to move, huh? Ooh, look at me! Not moving at all. Yeah! Standing completely still.
Okay, these two may pass. Welcome to the market.
Wow, I'm surprised I didn't get shot. Or maybe I dodged the bullet with my sick dance moves. We're here at the market and whoa! I knew that this weapon was overpowered, but I could trade it for an auto shotty and gain over 100 bullets. That means that this weapon is insanely powerful, seeing how expensive it is, and is much better than this auto shotty. I bought the auto shotty. We go to the shelter gates, and now we're up to the surface. Outside, you'll find a new enemy flying around.
Hi, kid. Some people call these demons, I call them bitches.
I like Bourbon's name better.
Jump! I'll get you!
Man, I totally made that jump. So now we're separated and are left on our own to get around. Now up here, you have a limited air supply, so you need to keep your gas mask on and watch your gas mask filters. And also make sure to take off your mask when you're in a breathable area, because when you get hit with it on, your gas mask also takes damage, and you don't want it to take unnecessary damage in a place where you don't need it. The gas mask mechanic is cool, but you find so much filters that it's hardly ever a threat. Right here, I found a pneumatic weapon which goes in the third weapon slot. Pneumatic weapon shoots arrows and relies off of air pressure, so not only do you need to keep track of your ammo, you also need to keep track of your air pressure and pump it up when needed, and it fires accurate and silent arrow shots. I'm not gonna use it, but I was just showing it off. Alright, can't fit through this gap. I'll try again, and no, still nothing. What if I go all psycho crazy on it? Oh, there we go. Hopefully that doesn't happen later on in the game again. Now, one weapon I haven't talked about is the knife. It's a standard melee weapon. Left click to slash and right click to do this weird punch attack, which is slower but does more damage. And how strong is Artyom that his fist does more damage than his knife? How easy would the game be if he ditched the knife and just went hand to hand? Maybe he also knew that he was in a video game like these people did, but they didn't want to destroy it by using his overpowered fists, so he used the knife to limit his power level. Ah! Murder the children! Ah, what? Didn't mean to hit him that hard. I accidentally used the punch attack, and this is what would happen in the entire game if I just used regular fists. We find Bourbon again, but after a bit of walking, we hold out against a fuckload of Nasalises, but then run away and escape off the surface into these vents. Bourbon goes off on his own, but he gets caught and we're separated again. There's the AK he promised to give me, which is pretty much an upgrade to the bastard gun we had before. This part here is pretty easy to stealth if you have the right tools. I was out of revolver ammo, so I had to use these hunting knives, which were a pain to use in ranger mode, where you didn't have a crosshair. But I found out that if you right-click, you stab with them, and where the knife tip ends at the climax of the animation is where the center of the screen is. So I stabbed this guy's head from afar to get an idea of where to aim, and then throw the knife. Oh hey, what's up? Wait, what's going on? No! No! No, Bourbon! If only you had shot him a second earlier and didn't wait for some reason.
You can keep your weapon down, young man.
One character down, another one up. We lose Bourbon, but we meet a new character named Khan, and he wants us to leave the station with him so we won't die.
If you'd rather share your friend's fate, then by all means, stay.
I thought you would actually die here if you stayed too long, but I waited here for a couple of minutes and nothing happened. We go through the tunnels and it seems to be completely empty. Emphasis on seems to be, because here's the first time we run into ghosts. They're invisible to the naked eye, but they still cast a shadow when you shine a light on them, and you don't want to touch them as that can be very deadly. And here's one of my favorite scenes of the game, the ghost train.
This tunnel has to relive its past over and over again, and those who were unfortunate enough to walk here at such a moment usually join that past.
Damn, that part really hit hard after hearing the train crash at the very last second. The people's souls are subject to living that moment for all of eternity.
It appears that the devastation we brought upon ourselves was complete. Heaven Hell and purgatory were atomized as well. So when a soul leaves the body, it has nowhere to go and must remain here in the metro.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the writing, the story, and the characters in this game are fucking awesome. Oh hey, you're back! Been a while since I seen ya.
Try to get a better understanding of things before you make your judgment.
I didn't even say anything, but alright. We have another holdout event against a fuckload of Nasalises, but again, I wouldn't waste ammo. Wait a bit, and the anomaly actually helps you out this time. We hop on a motorized railcar and head to the Curse Station, where a bunch of creatures keep coming from the tunnel that was supposed to be destroyed, but the demolition team set to do it was killed. So we're tasked with getting their bomb and taking it to the tunnel. You plant it, run like the absolute wind, and then escape the blast radius. The tunnels are now blocked like planned. Khan helps us through an underground tunnel under a shrine, which leads us to an entrance of a new station.
Come in, this is a free station.
Attention! Attention! Document inspection is currently being carried out at the armory. Please stay at your registered residences and assist the law enforcement personnel in their work.
Yeah, you can already tell that this isn't a free station. And the station is under authoritarian rule by communist soldiers. You hear somebody being arrested, but the absolute madman just jokes around and fucks with them, despite the high possibility of getting shot.
Got the bullshit. Prepare for inspection.
Oh, I'm always prepared for this. Doctor, could you check my prostate while you're at it? I'm pissing kind of funny. It's glowing. Must be the radiation, huh?
We barge in, which interrupts them, but while they're distracted, he knocks them both down, and now we're on the run. We push people down and avoid gunfire, but as we're surrounded and it looks like we might get arrested, Khan's friend, Andrew the blacksmith, saves us. He helps us get disguised and helps you get out. It should be a crime to put attachments on an AK. You're loaded into a railcar's luggage compartment and put on the tracks.
Ideals?
Written orders from the commissar.
What they really want are sheep who breaks down.
Yep, that's it. You just lost all your social credit score. Soldiers start loading up and you're sent off to the front lines. I also like how there's a copy of the Metro 2033 novel here with you.
What? But God forbid suicide. I'd go straight to hell.
You call yourself a communist yet you believe in God? Fucking poser. That was a joke, that was a joke, that was a joke, that was a joke. Now we're at the front lines. I tried to stealth this, so I snuck through the underway. And you can't depict a Stalin-era Soviet army without someone getting caught for taking one step back and being shot for treason.
The Revolutionary Tribunal, this cowardly
You fight through and eventually make it to the fascist front lines, where you start to hear a bunch of propaganda in an attempt to demoralize the Red soldiers.
Soldiers of the Red Army, don't believe your commissar's lies! Soldiers of the Reich do not torture and kill prisoners of war!
Yeah, except for the times that you did. We get attacked by an armored car, but nothing that a bit of explosives can't fix. We then get captured by Nazi soldiers and taken into custody.
When I came to my senses, I lost all hope. Nazi prisoners were used for slave labor or target practice.
What? But I thought they didn't torture or murder prisoners of war. We're about to get executed, but we're saved by the Rangers.
You know, one thing I like about the bad guys, there's always a lot of discussion before they get around to pulling the trigger.
Should have told that to Bourbon. Now, one thing I noticed while playing this is that all the fascist troops speak in a Russian accent, which I kind of thought was because they didn't have any German voice actors, but I also had fun and brainstormed that maybe this wasn't about World War II like I thought. And maybe they weren't the original Nazis, but part of a Nazi uprising in post-apocalyptic Moscow. Because there were a lot of socialist and fascist followers popping up around Europe. Like, for example, the so-called black shirts who helped Benito Mussolini gain fascist control over Italy. Maybe it could be another case like that. And it turns out that I was right. As I did some research from the video, I found out more of the story. After the blast, factions started to emerge, like any post-apocalyptic game does. Like the Rangers who rescued us, and there's also the Red Line who wanted to bring back Stalin-era communism, and you also have the Fourth Reich who were neo-Nazis trying to take over the metro and were also at war with the Red Line faction. Back to the main game, the two Rangers lead us out, and we go with one of them in this armored cart headed to go behind the Nazi backlines, while the other one goes off and does a mission. And, yeah, it's a turret section. It's a turret section. At least I can mow down Nazis in a satisfying fashion. Oh hey fellas, so I heard that y'all were big fans of Adolf Hitler. Would you like to fucking meet him? Congratulations, you've all won free tickets to the ethno state of your dreams. In hell! Out of the rail car and into another rail car. We hop into a different rail car, but this one doesn't have a turret, so we use our regular guns. We go through the depot and defend from a fuckload of Nasalises. Our accompanying ranger, Pavel, gets taken out of the car and left behind, like that stranger. So, just forget that I told you his name 2 seconds ago. We go off on our own, and we go to the front of a station desperately clinging to survival.
Friends, we have to hold off the enemy for a few minutes more. I won't lie to you. This will be a nasty fight. But think of your loved ones back in the station. Any beast that gets through our line will show them no mercy. So lock and load, and let's teach these freaks how real men fight.
You help them defend, and you go in on your way after they all die. While you walk through, you hear someone crying, so you go towards where it's coming from, and you find a kid who's stuck with their dead family.
Go away! Leave me alone! Mom told me to not talk to strangers! Okay, my name is Sasha. You shoot and I'll watch your back.
Sasha hops on your back and we go out into the danger zone. Now, this part is alright, but I don't like it for much for what it is, but I like it for what it isn't. They could have made this some bullshit escort mission like, Actium! Help! But they didn't. The only thing different is that you can't sprint and your aim is all wonky. Sasha usually points out where enemies are coming from, and he helps you find some ammo.
The sky! That's the sky, isn't it? It's like a painted ceiling. I'll be famous. I saw the sky.
I like this slight detail where he's really excited to see the sky, of all things, and he thinks he'll be famous for it. It tells you about how the people born after the blast have been in darkness and never even seen the sky in their entire lives, without directly saying it. We headed to another safe station and gear up again.
Be careful, new creatures have appeared there. Nazis.
Nice. So you go back up to the surface and here's a cool grenade spot. You just gotta wait for the right moment. Hell yeah. Now let's talk about the shooting. It's pretty good. You have all these attachments to help you out, like long barrels for revolvers which extends the range, rifle stocks for your revolver to help with the aim, scopes which goes for anything so you can snipe the enemy, and suppressors to stay silent. It's just to name a few attachments. And there's also the weapon variety and the many weapon types, like the rifles, SMGs, shotguns, pneumatic weapons, and electric weapons, just to name a few. Some weapons also have a special alt fire on them. For most of them, you just aim down the iron sights or the scope. For the double-barreled shotgun, you fire the right barrel. For the auto shotty, that electric gun I mentioned earlier, or any gun with a bayonet attachment, you do a quick melee attack. And for the belt-fed shotgun, you fire shots semi-automatically if you're trying to be conservative with your ammo and you don't want to use the fully automatic fire mode. The shooting in this game is pretty good. I give it a rating of badass. You fight your way to the Black Station and meet up with Ullman, the ranger guy from earlier, but he's on the other side of the station, which is like right there. So you have to go all the way around. I actually managed to stealth through the entire thing. I had suppressed weapons, I took out the lights, and I slipped through undetected. One thing that helped me were these night vision goggles, which you should have by now. You charge them up with your flashlight charger, and it also doesn't give away your position as easily as the flashlight does. Though, when you head into a well-lit area, it's almost blinding. We meet Ullman again and ride out on a rail car, but we have another hallucination.
Even children hated by their parents try to love and understand them. We wish to understand you and help you.
Yeah, and you should understand that I want you to stay the fuck away from me before I start to imagine a restraining order so you're not allowed to go anywhere near my mind. And finally, we make it to Polis. And damn, this place looks amazing. It's like Las Vegas, but buried underground. And it doesn't want to steal your soul. And people actually live here. Okay, they pretty much nothing have in common, and I just said that because it has flashy lights. We deliver the message about your station needing help to Miller, and so he calls up the council members for a meeting. We head into a courtroom and... Why is the music like that?
Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Artyom, I'm stunned that the council has refused to help your station. I'm ashamed that they lack the courage you have already shown.
Oh, what? I came all this way for nothing? So it looks like we're gonna have to find another way to defeat the Dark Ones. And we have a plan to do so, which is to go to a missile base, D6, and possibly launch a missile at the source. We're back up on the surface, and when you're at this one part, watch out for falling debris from this roof. I totally haven't made that mistake before. And now we're at the front door of the library, which is where we're supposed to go to find secret military files that will help us find D6. We go with 2 accompanying rangers inside until a bitch starts to attack us and we get to rush on inside. Now you have to watch out for these tentacles. You can avoid them or shoot them if they get in your way, because if you don't, they'll try to hit you as you go near them. Later on, it comes back and injures one of the rangers. The other one goes away to bring him back to Polis, so now we're back on our own. Now we meet a new enemy, the Librarian. These guys are pretty tough, but if you look them right in the eye, they slow down and ponder at you. Just don't stand still or they get close enough to attack. When I played this before I started recording this, I didn't even kill them when I played through this part. I just broke this door and tried to sneak past them. But on this playthrough, I discovered that this belt-fed shotgun has a full auto mode. So I did this to all of them. Eat fuck! Alright, so I gotta go through this hole, huh? Seems easy, and, alright. This is not where I'm supposed to go? No, it clearly is. Why can't I fit? Okay, so when I had problems with this hole, I looked it up, and everyone had the exact same problem. One thing I found that worked was to try to squeeze in as this librarian attacks you, and it pushes you in. Just make sure to turn the difficulty down to easy mode so you don't die trying. Alright, gotta go down this elevator and— oh, shit! Uh-oh. Wait, what's outside? Oh, hey, you're back! What's up, man? Man, why does everyone want me for dinner? I probably taste radioactive at this point. Oh, shit! Fight! 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 Excuse me? I'm trying to watch 2 beasts fight to the death here. Whoa! Ah! Yeah, that's what you get, jackass! We look through this room for the military documents, and then head out and meet up with the Rangers again. And now we arrive at the Sparta base, and damn! Look at all these guns! And yeah, if you couldn't tell by any of that, we're about to head to the last chapter of the game.
Oh, hey there, Artyom.
Are you cutting firewood on a piece of stone? You're gonna dull the hell out of that hatchet. And we're off, and we have another hallucination. And I like how on this part, you can go forward, but you cannot walk backwards. But then you have to turn around and walk the other way. We wake up, and we're attacked by a fuckload of Nasalises. So we man the flamethrower and defend the car, until our old friend, the Anomaly, shows up again, and we're trying to desperately get out of here. And then we barely make it. Now we're at the dungeon. We're going on a mission that will change history, and everyone's just cracking jokes.
Well, look at this. Someone left a skeleton here. Hey, how about we take it as a memento?
Holman, enough with the jokes, Blin. When we're back at the base, you'll be sweeping tunnels with a toothbrush.
Yes, my marshal. As you say, my general.
This part is just a bunch of holdout events, but you have 5 people there to shoot for you. So what I do is run around and get the Snouts' attention while everyone else shoots. I'm pretty sure they're invincible, so you don't have to worry about them dying. Yet. At the end of the level, we get separated and have to find out a way back to them, but it doesn't take so long. Oh, how convenient! A train stops by to take us to D6. And it looks like it's an average passenger train. So all I can imagine is that before the apocalypse, when civilians were using these trains, there could have been a tour guide like, "And this is where we hold the key to total nuclear annihilation." If I'm gonna be honest, everything from this part on is kinda weak. Especially for what's supposed to be the ending. You don't do much other than push buttons and take lifts, until you go around and fight these new amoeba enemies, which acts like a suicide bomber and spawns out of these warts, which you could easily take out with a knife, but you have to protect Miller here. And you fail if he takes too much damage and dies. We go down, and here we meet Big Ugly. We fight through more amoeba and make it to the controls of the crane. We have to go over these reactor rods and pull them out of power, but you have to do it fast enough before it gets destroyed by Big Ugly down there. Actually, I don't know if you can fail this part, but I'm guessing that you do if you take too much damage. Now we head off on this train and on to the last part of the game, the tower. We begin on where that prologue from way earlier ended, but instead of starting over, we keep going.
Follow me, Artyom. Don't stop for a second.
Oh, don't stop for a second? Alright, I'm running. Oh. You can't go too far ahead of Miller or the game kills you. But eventually you make it to the tower. You hijack an elevator to go up, but when you make it, Miller is injured by a bitch. So you're on your own to finish the job. You climb up in this big QuickTime event, but you make it up and plant the device.
Artyom, this signal is just perfect. Hold on for just 1 more minute and we'll get them.
Oh, hold out for a minute? That should be easy.
You will be stopped. He cannot be allowed. We'll destroy him. Stop him. Surrender. He cannot be allowed. Destroy him. He cannot be allowed. Destroy him.
Okay, I get it. Shut up already.
He's coming to destroy us.
Not only am I coming to destroy you, I'm coming to kick your fucking ass.
If it's hostile, you kill it.
I ain't taking any of you alive. I take names, not prisoners.
Stop him. Destroy him. He cannot be allowed.
Coming procedure complete. Artyom, the missiles are in flight!
Don't look directly at nuclear explosions, dude. You could go blind. Or no, Artyom doesn't give a damn. Cool guys don't look at explosions, but badass guys look it dead in the eyes. You should hold out one of those aluminum popcorn trays and have a snack for the fireworks. Or nail a bitch to the end of the tower and have nuke roasted bitches.
When we burned the Dark Ones from the face of the earth, was something lost as well?
Yeah, we lost a good chunk of the earth after it fucking exploded. Roll credits! And that was Metro 2033, everyone. That last chapter was pretty meh, but the game as a whole is pretty good, and I recommend it. But again, this is a story-based game, so expect a lot of cutscenes and hand-holding. I think the story and the characters are great, but the gameplay is just good. That's it. Good. Nothing more, nothing less. My only problem with the gameplay is that it's too easy, even on Ranger Hardcore, the hardest difficulty in the game. I got through with only little issues. I think the worst things that happened were on that frontline mission where you're in a battle between the Nazis and Communists, where I was pushing around for a dumb gag for this video that I pushed back to later in the game anyways. So I got stuck and had to switch to easy mode. And on that part before the library, where I had no gas mask filters, I had to go all the way back to the part before the Black Station infiltration, and rush through to not waste any filters. But I still have a really positive impression of this game. So, on this chart, I rate Metro 2033 as good ass! Great characters, good story, with decent enough gameplay to keep me going. And that was the first episode of Morbid's Vault. I actually quite liked making this video, so much so that it didn't take 4 months after my previous video, and there might be more of this series coming soon. And by soon, I mean the actual year 2033.